All right, everyone, get your popcorn ready because this is the kind of video you're going to need a lot of it, because in this video, I'm going to tell you about the bank that threatened to sue little old me for the craziest of reasons. Now, I've really kind of struggled with the idea of making this video because a lot of people have commented to me, Andrew, you seem like, a very kind person. And it's been really, inspiring to hear that because, I think I do want to get along with people. I like being nice to people. I like having loyalty to people on my team, in life, and business. But occasionally, and I realize I said occasionally, someone comes after you so hard for the stupidest of reasons, it just has to be talked about. So, many of you will think, oh, a bank wants to sue Andrew Henderson. It must be one of those banks, like HSBC, he complains about. No. You are going to fall out of your chair when you hear this. So let me set the stage. It's the first day of my honeymoon. Mrs. H and I have just landed in Mauritius, and we've promised each other we're going to put the phones in the safe. We're not going to be using computers, phones, iPads. We're going to go full digital detox and spend a great week together. And so we land, and I realize, oh shoot, I forgot to get the confirmation for the car that's coming and picking us up and taking us to the hotel. So what do? I say, well, I'll just make an exception. Let me go on my phone. Let me turn it on. Let me check my email, and it'll be at the top of my email inbox, where there it was, except this email was one on top of it, and I just simply couldn't ignore it. So here's the email I got. Information about Ameria Bank. Now, Ameria Bank is a bank in Armenia. We haven't talked about it here on the channel. I've put a little bit of content out about Ameria Bank, but now I got this email. Information about Ameria Bank. This is from Elmira Adamyan in Armenia. Dear Mr. Henderson, no space between Mr. and Henderson. Dear Mr. Henderson, we have recently been informed about your publication entitled The Best Offshore Banks for 2018, even for U.S. Citizens. While we are pleased with the high rankings received from you on the services rendered by our bank, we consider it challenging to be listed as the best offshore bank in Armenia, since the notion and concept of offshore services bears now widely negative perception and might certainly result in reputational damages for our bank. Now, already, it's like I've just checked into a five-star hotel or something, and I'm getting the official playbook of corporate lingo. I don't even, we get it, right? Right, we get it. I'm a terrible person. Offshore is terrible. You're all terrible people. Big problem. Let's continue. Please note that bank, capital B, bank, has never been nor is interested in reaching out and developing non-resident clients outside of Armenia, which is interesting because I have an account there, comma, our primary focus being the positioning and growth in local and regional markets. So the bank has never had any essential number of non-resident clients, so good, I'm in unique company, which are always subject to the highest levels of scrutiny and compliance check and verification. We get it. You call a bank, by the way, I met with my father recently, and he said, Andrew, your mother and I have been traveling around a lot, and I realized, what a slog Andrew must have been going through all these years, finding anyone who's halfway competent to do any of this nomad capitalist stuff. Because you're right, you go to these banks and they all speak in banker talk, and you've got to deal with it. The highest level of scrutiny. Of course, you have the highest level of scrutiny. I never said otherwise. Compliance check, verification. Okay. The email continues. While we appreciate your choice to bank with us and value such relationship, more corporate lingo, of course, totally insincere, we would consider it important to draw your attention, just get to the bloody point, to the negative side of the ranking done, and request you to kindly remove any reference to our bank at your earliest convenience. Said this, what are we like? What is this, the 17th century England? Said this, we are open to discuss with our valued customers, more corporate lingo, of course, any feedback and or publication they would like to issue in relation to our bank and services. We therefore propose to proceed with removal of current reviews. Well, I let people proposing what I can do for them. With the removal of current reviews on our bank and its services, and work together on publication, if any, in relation to banking experience you received in Armenia and our bank. Now, again, minor point, not relevant. Listen, you don't want to be mentioned, you don't want to be talked about, like that's cool. The irony. Listen, just say that. I could have said this in 2 words. Hey, we don't want to be listed in your thing. Please take it down. And when we get emails from people occasionally, hey, I was on a podcast or something. It's 2 sentences. This is like, it's like worse than whatever. This comes. Here's the email. This comes without any waiver of our rights to pursue the process further in case the bank suffers any reputational or other damages from being mentioned in a positive light, or negative coverage due to the stated publications being kept in our reference. We hope the issue will be handled by you in an appropriate manner. Thank you in advance, Head of Corporate Communication and Social Responsibility Division. Now, I'm a lifelong entrepreneur, so if you asked me, would you rather have dinner with Satan, a terrorist, or the head of corporate communication? Well, I mean, the terrorist might kill you. I mean, there's a whole eternal damnation thing. I'd probably have dinner with the terrorist. Satan would probably be number 2. So this is the email to which I replied. Let me quote myself. Well, okay, I sent an autoresponder saying I was out and they could contact various people. Then I forwarded it to my lawyer in Armenia. Then I forwarded it to my team to remove. Then I replied, Elmira, as a promoter of Armenia in general and husband of your citizen, I'm highly insulted that you've insulted my honeymoon with this veiled threat. I just go right for it. Why not, The biggest frustration with these corporate people and these diplomatic people is, listen, remove the article. I'd have some respect. Don't waste my time reading, 17 paragraphs of blah, 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 blah. I will cease sending any further of my clients for their local business accounts effective immediately. As I'm out on this once-in-a-lifetime occasion, my team will remove any positive references from our site shortly, and I reserve the right to critique this appalling service as a customer in future reviews. Feel free to contact my attorney in Armenia if you wish to pursue your threatened frivolous litigation. We'll be happy to vigorously defend any nonsensical claims, particularly in the light of the 1,000-plus customers that have been sent to banks in Georgia and the positive effect I can demonstrate on their business. Feel free to contact my attorney. Good day ahead to you. And then I kept contacting my team. Now, I figured that would be the end of it until a week and a half later, I got this email. Now, so by this point, I'm thinking to myself, all right, it's frustrating. You list someone as, hey, I had a good experience. You think that'd be a pretty good thing, wouldn't you? Right? Most people would like to say, oh, I had a good experience, right? Okay. Little did I know that I'm like the worst person in the world for doing that. So I responded. Yeah, you know what? I responded with a little bit of gusto. Listen, I don't like it. Come on. But here's the email. This is from someone different. This is from the head of quality, service quality assurance. Everyone's the head. It's like they're running a 5-star hotel. Everyone's the manager of something. Dear Mr. Henderson, first of all, on behalf of our entire team, I apologize for the wrongful impression of our email on September 3rd. And especially that it has reached you during this very special time in your life. Please accept our warmest wishes for your marriage and countless blessings to you and your... While the wording of the email was rather on the formal and legal spectrum, we have never intended it to be so, quite, as you have put, threatening. We are sorry. It did feel that way to you. Very political, of course. It felt that way to me. Comment below. Who thinks, when you mention, you're not waiving your rights to sue someone, who thinks that's kind of like a threat? Leave a comment below. But, we didn't mean it to be threatening. We're sorry that you felt that way, right? I mean, very political. It's all your fault. You felt, we said we're going to sue you. And why would you have that impression? I mean, silly little you, sorry that you're silly. I mean, it's okay. Blah, 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 blah. She goes on, okay, hey, listen, it's actually kind of nice. I appreciate an apology. We all make mistakes. And she wanted to say, hey, the context of offshore and that particular word triggers a mass wave of negative reactions in Armenia by many in the, blah, 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 whatever. By many in the media. It's not what we want. We would be grateful if you could let us recover the negative impression whenever you happen to visit Armenia and have the time and desire to meet. I replied, and I said, sure, thank you for the warm wishes and for your apology, which are both well appreciated. I said, however, threatening is threatening. It's not a matter of perception. If you wish to walk a corporate fine line between implying a threat while being able to say, we didn't mean it that way, I know exactly what your colleague meant. I said, I'm always eager and happy to meet banks when there's a mutual benefit. I said, I am struggling to understand why you would want to meet or what benefit I would gain given your position. If you'd like to do so, please make a suggestion for an agenda so that a meeting may be arranged. And then I get this. This came about a month after that. Andrew, dear Andrew, if I may. Well, I mean, you certainly may. Hello. And I'll spare you the blah, 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 blah about the offshore and blah, blah, blah. Funny as it sounds, a negative reference in your article in terms of the bank's limitation or unwillingness to serve non-residents would probably cause a milder reaction. Andrew, being associated, the only way we want to be associated with you is if you're like, you're a disaster. So, by the way, you have it now because I'd rather have dinner with Satan and a terrorist above you. I've explored the Nomad Capitalist website and FB page, comma, should be a semicolon. It is clear that on those platforms you specifically focus on offshore, whether in citizenship, banking, or in business. I'm not sure if there's an offshore citizenship, how that works, but okay. And the profile of your audience does not quite match our target customer profile. Okay, cool. I understand you've had a positive or neutral to positive experience while opening your personal accounts with us. My guess would be that you hold accounts in various banks/financial institutions. Thus, frankly, unless you could offer a different platform, blah, 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 blah. And then, here's where it comes to. And this is what I want you to be aware of, not just to share in my frustration here, but this is what I want you to be aware of when you're going out there, really, even in your own country. The vast majority of people you speak to, and this is amplified when you're going offshore, is just grandiose bureaucracy that must be dealt with. It's corporate, it's diplomatic, they take forever to just get to the bloody point. And they say, hey, let's have a meeting. And I say, great, let's have a meeting, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur, I mean what I say. Oh, actually, we don't want to have a meeting. We just wanted to say that as a hollow platitude so we could insult you some more. Okay, mission accomplished. Then here's the final part. Here are other projects that we are not, here, in case there are not other projects of which we are not aware of, just say what you want, just enough with the in case we're not aware, and how miserable these people must be. Here's what we could definitely cooperate on. Mystery shopping reviews for our internal use. Public reviews post positive feedbacks, customer experience, etc. Well, I thought you don't want public reviews, but okay. Comparative reviews from your visits to banks in other countries. In case this may sound interesting to you later or in the future, we can discuss at your convenience. My invite for a meeting is always open. Not after my reply to this. Yeah, listen, this is why we go through and work with a lot of different banks, because apparently I'm not successful enough that I have time to go and become a mystery shopper for a bank in Armenia. So this has been the thing. I guess we'll see if we'll have to see how it plays out. I'm sure they won't like me much after this. I replied basically, Sophia, I'm deeply insulted by your fake apology, which is actually quite insulting. It was actually meant to be. I don't know. Who cares? So this is what you deal with. Now, let me tell you why this is important. We have had a lot of content. We've talked about specific banks. By the way, we've actually gotten nice comments and thank you letters from people at various banks whom we have mentioned. But what's interesting is a lot of people say, Andrew, sometimes why can't you be more specific? Why don't you give the names of the banks? Why don't you tell us exactly where to go and exactly what to do? Two reasons. Number one, despite having hundreds of videos and thousands of blog articles that help people, I do indeed run a business where we help people do this, and it's quite frankly not fair to people who pay us a fair amount of money to simply give some of the stuff which we reserve to them to everybody. I don't feel badly about that. We've got literally thousands of pieces of free content, much more than anybody else out there. But the second reason, the selfless reason, is simply this, right? Is here at Nomad Capitalist, we have a certain target on our backs that, if we go out and say even nice things about some of these banks or about certain programs, they may not like it. And as an entrepreneur, to me, all publicity is good publicity. Even people go out and say, I don't want to work with Andrew, his price is too high. Please, yes, get the word out. Yes, we work with successful people here. I'm cool, good publicity. But for corporate drones and for diplomatic hacks, everything has to be done in a very measured and proper way. And, being associated with the likes of me is not, it's not something they want to do. And so we have to be measured in our approach. I can't just simply come out and say, here are the banks I work with. I actually have bankers who I have great relationships with who have said, Andrew, we love having you as a customer. Please don't talk about us. We don't want the attention, or we're very boutique. We don't want a lot of customers. And I always respect that. What I don't really respect much is, putting out content that's very positive and getting blasted away from people. I've talked to you before how I don't have much respect for people coming and asking me for free publicity and then being angry at me when I say no and punishing me. But the reality is, in a world of bureaucracy, which is what banks and passports and all this different stuff that we do is, this is what we have to deal with. And so what I want you to be aware of is this is why you need an individual plan that serves your needs. There's always going to be stuff that's going to be kept behind the curtain for this very reason, because everything can't be put out there. And so I hope that explains why we don't always talk about specific banks and specific opportunities, because we do have to be careful. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.